I will certainly take under advisement your request. Go ahead, Eugene.
Thanks, Jen. There have been kind of a growing rumblings among economists about the R word, recession, that coming possibly.
The R word.
The R word. And what kind of conversations are happening right now about a possible recession?
Well, we continue to believe, our economists most importantly, that the United States economy will deal with challenges ahead from a position of strength because of the president's economic plan. It's important to remember we created more jobs last year than any other year in history. We obviously have a very low unemployment rate in the country, and we've seen wages go up in a number of areas. I would note that there was a Goldman Sachs, we may be referring to this, the Goldman Sachs analysis, and even in their analysis, they said, quote, "We still do not see a recession as inevitable. However, particularly since the Fed's goal of cooling the economy while avoiding a recession will be helped by post-COVID normalizations in labor supply and durable goods prices." So our view is we're in a period of historic job growth, strong business investment, strong consumer and business balance sheets, and normalizing supply chains. Those are all good signs for the economy, but obviously we'll continue to monitor any concerns we have about where things are headed.
And if inflation continues to rise, what are the concerns about that? It feels like that would make it a lot.
Well, the Federal Reserve continues to project that it will moderate by the end of the year. And we support their steps they've announced to recalibrate, and we've already seen some of those actions taken, but really it's under their purview, so we would point to their projections. Go ahead.
So just a follow-up on Title 42. The issue that Democratic senators have brought up is that there isn't a detailed plan, they think, to deal with the expected rise in migrants at the border. So does the White House feel confident that the administration has the necessary resources and operational plan in place to process and house and transport migrants?
Well, I would point you to the fact that the Department of Homeland Security put out a plan that they briefed members on when we announced the timeline or the implementation period, an extended period that wasn't immediate at the time. That includes surging resources and making sure we had the type of resources available to meet any needs. So they did put out a preparedness plan at the time, but we're going to have continuing conversations, and we certainly welcome any engagement to do that. Our issue is more the hooking it with COVID funding because of the devastating impact that would have on communities across the country.
Just another question on a Times op-ed that Senator Warren wrote today, saying that Democrats need to deliver on more of their agenda in order to keep the majorities in Congress. Do you agree with that premise? And at this point, I know you named a few of the legislative priorities already in the briefing, but are there top 3 priorities that the White House feels they can actually get done before the midterms?
We love all of our children in the legislature around here. What I will say is that, we've talked a bit about steps to lower costs, which I know Senator Warren, of course, strongly supports as well, for childcare, for health care, for elder care, for prescription drugs. These are no-brainers for most people in the country, and also making the tax system more fair. We think those are all issues that Democrats, but also a lot of people around the country would love for us to do more on and love to talk about more. We, of course, as I've stated a couple times in this briefing, want to get COVID funding because we think it's essential so that we can continue a lot of the programs that have had such a huge impact on people's lives, including for the uninsured, including in making sure we have boosters, for 4th boosters for every American who wants them whenever people are eligible, including being able to buy enough Evusheld and treatments for the immunocompromised. That's hugely important to us. And then, of course, we want to get the Innovation Act passed because we believe that that's something that should have bipartisan support, and we want to make sure we have manufacturing here in the United States, something that can make us stronger over the long term. There are many other things, but I would say those are a couple of the things that we will continue to fight to move forward on.
Yeah. With the premise that the administration and Democrats in Congress need to get more done in order to have a shot at the majority.
I would say I'm not going to make political predictions from here. What I will say, though, is that everybody looks at a choice and what each party is fighting for, is advocating for, has gotten accomplished, but also what their vision is for the future, and we're proud of our vision.
Thanks, Jen. To go back to the virtual COVID summit, you
Yeah.
just mentioned again the need for Congress to approve COVID funding. Does the White House see that date, May 12th, for the summit as a deadline for Congress to get that funding approved?
We don't, but we just see it as a reminder of how important it is that to continue to take steps to be the provider, the arsenal of vaccines to the world. Something we have already done since the last summit. While the world has made significant progress in scaling up vaccination efforts, and COVAX has now provided almost 1.2 billion vaccines to more than 140 countries, with 88% of those contributions going to low and middle income countries. We're not at the global vaccination rate that we need to be, or that health experts project we want to be at, right? It's a 70% vaccination target. That's the global target set by the World Health Organization. And while vaccination rates are rising, only approximately 20% of countries are fully vaccinated at least 70% of their population. But this is an opportunity. Obviously, we're going to continue to fight for more funding here, but we will to continue to press other countries to do more to help the world make progress as well.
And along those lines, we've heard USAID Chief Samantha Power say earlier this month that if there isn't that global COVID funding, if Congress puts something together without it, that the U.S. would have to turn its back on the countries that need urgent help to boost vaccination rates. Will it be difficult for the U.S. to take a lead at a summit like that if that funding has not come through?
Well, we are far and away the leader in the world. That will not change between now and the summit, regardless of funding. However, we want to continue to be providing not just vaccine doses, but also the know-how and equipment and supplies that countries around the world need.
Jen, more mass shootings this past weekend, more mass shootings, 2 teenage boys dead, dozens injured. What does the president believe is causing such a callous disregard for human life in this country?
Well, let me first say, and thank you for the question, these shootings are horrific and must stop. Our prayers are with the survivors, those who are lost, and their families. I can't attribute, obviously this just happened over the weekend, the reasoning. But what I can tell you is that it's a reminder of the need to take more steps to stop gun crime, something the president has strongly supported and advocated for for decades in public office, cracking down on gun traffickers, putting more cops on the beat, investing in community anti-crime programs, and of course also confirming a very qualified individual, Steve Dettelbach, to lead the ATF.
But aside from laws, what does the president have in mind, if anything, a plan to improve, to get people to respect life more, to respect other human beings? Laws aside, you can't legislate morality and values, right, in human life. Does he ever talk about that openly to you or anyone else?
I think every time that you've seen the president talk about shootings, the impact on families, on human beings, on loved ones, on communities, he talks about that human impact. But it also is true that in order to reduce and change the direction of crime and gun crime, which is the majority of crime, we need to have more laws in place. Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Texas Governor Abbott said that, quote, financial pain was necessary to get officials to take action on illegal immigration. Is there any sense that those border inspections did cause financial pain, that there was any disruption to the supply chain or anything like that you all are tracking?
Well, I don't have an extended summary analysis. What I do know is that you don't have to look farther than the comments made by business leaders, trade organizations of all political stripes and parties, and their opposition to the unnecessary additional steps that the governor was implementing. And there's $1 million in trade crossing over the U.S.-Mexico border every minute. So there's no question that putting these unnecessary inspections in place, which resulted at the time in the drop in commercial traffic of up to 60 to 70% in some ports, was having a huge impact on the local community, on businesses, and that's why so many people were so outspoken about it.
And just quickly, do you have an update on the plan for Ukrainian refugees? Will it be a parole program like you have for Afghans or any of these?
Yeah, I certainly understand the question. I don't have any update in this moment. That's exactly the type of program, but there are a lot of considerations, so hopefully we'll have more soon. Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. Does President Biden have confidence in Senator Dianne Feinstein?
Confidence
in Senator Dianne Feinstein?
Yes, she's a longtime friend, a proud public servant, and someone he has long enjoyed serving with and working with.
And after that report came out last week questioning your health, did the president reach out to her at all?
I don't have any updates on private conversations.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, everyone.